Hello fellow YouTubers. I'm here today to make a video about how to level a valley pool table. This is your standard pool table you would find in any bar. It's the 8-foot model with a one-piece slate, and it can be a little tricky to level, and so I figured I'd make a video and see if it helps you guys. So the first thing I need to do is tell you about what I'm using. What I've got here is a fairly inexpensive, 2-foot level. I found that the shorter level seems to work best for what I'm doing here, and I'll tell you some reasons of why in a little while. The other thing I have is a machinist level. These are typically expensive, but they do help with accuracy. I also have a smaller machinist level. It's basically the same thing. It's just a more accurate level. So through some testing and some hours of attempts at doing this correctly, I learned a few things. So let me just get started. This table is actually level right now, so I'm going to show you the procedure that I went through in order to get it that way. So initially I thought, hey, maybe I need to set this level in like this, and it's going to tell me where, if I need to come up or down on this side. And then I said, well, then I can set it over here, and it's going to tell me if I need to go up and down. Because it's such an accurate level, I thought for sure it was going to tell me everything I needed to know. Little did I know, that's not really how it works. So a couple of hours later, I determined that what I really needed to do was use a little bit longer level. And this was helpful because it allowed me to compensate for maybe some differences in the felt, or maybe some stuff that I didn't quite get correctly with my initial leg adjustments. So I went through the process, and I learned that when you put the level here, it's not going to be the same as putting the level here or here. Everyone thinks that, well, this is a one-piece slate, so it should automatically be level everywhere, and there should be a way to make it level everywhere. But that's really not how it works. So what I determined is that the best way to do things is to get this reasonably level first with your larger, more inexpensive level. So what I would do is I would take it over here in this area, and I would look for my bubble, and I would make some adjustments this way and this way until I got things fairly even. So that's not going to get you where you want to be, and you would say, well, maybe we need to go this way now that we've done that. Well, when I started doing that, I started realizing that the different measurements between here and here were not really quite the same. And why? Why is that? Well, pool tables are finicky little creatures, and little adjustments make big differences on the levels. I thought I had it right. I would take a ball, I would throw it on the rail, and I would see how it moves. I would do this several times, and I determined that what the level was telling me was not necessarily what the ball was doing. Where's the problem? Wasn't really quite sure. So what I did was I took my level on my magnetic side of this level and set it on there. Now this is a machinist level, and this is your standard everyday level. So what I found that worked best was that what I needed to do was work with the diamonds. So I worked on this diamond right here, and I found a reading on my level, my machinist level, sitting on this. So I repeat this process down the table until I'm sure that I have got the table level this way. It's the most important part making sure it's level this way. You might think, well, we need to level it this way first. But this way actually allows you the ability to determine whether you are laterally level first. Then you can make adjustments after that. So what I did was I would put it here. I would take my measurements. Then I would move the level over to the other side on the same diamond, and I would look at my measurement. I'm looking for a bubble correlation here. So I'm moving myself around the table, and I'm trying to be sure that I keep all of the levels in the same bubbles in the correct spaces. So once I've determined that, and of course I'm verifying that by going over here, and I'm verifying that yes, I do have consistency between this side and this side. The extra length of this level is taking up the variations in what normally this small level might do, because it's so accurate that if I push this down just a little bit with my fingers, it's going to make a dramatic difference on the level, and that's going to affect how things go. So once I determined that I had my table correctly level horizontally, I was able to zero in on at least that part of it. That's important, because the next step becomes more difficult. You would say, well, now it's time to go to here. Now I'm looking at my level, and I can't show this to you, but I'm going to tell it to you. What I'm looking at here is my bubble is actually showing me that this is high right here. It's higher on this end. I'm going to take this down here to the other end of the table, and it's actually going to show me that this part of the table is high down here. So why is that? Well, it's because the table has a natural curvature in it, and the way the pressure points work and the way everything works is that the best thing you can do is you want to work on your center pockets. So I've got my level perfectly lined up with my center pockets right here on my extra extension on my cheaper level. Now I'm able to see the bubble. So if I move my position over a little bit, I'm actually seeing the elevation increase over here. If I move it over this way, I'm seeing the elevation increase over here. So how do I know that the table is high this way or low this way? Well, I do that by moving closer to the center pocket. So an example would be is if I had the level positioned off center of this pocket, and I can see that it's not exactly right. So I would make an adjustment on both legs at the same time on this end. Exactly the same, and these adjustments are very small. No more than maybe a 1/4 of an inch turn on the foot. And then I would remeasure. So if I bring my level back to center again, I should get a good bubble in the middle. You're going to verify this by going to this side, okay, to make sure that you're still consistent. You're also going to verify by going to this side, so that you've essentially zeroed your bubble out within the center of the pockets. You can actually easily make mistakes. Once you make one adjustment here, you may be a little bit off, and it actually throws things off a little bit more than you might think. So the goal here is, and I think the part of making this video that I found to be most important is that it seemed to be critical that the leveling process be done in the middle of the table where the pockets are on an extended level using a machinist level. That seemed to give the most accurate results. So now, once I've done that, I'm able to have brought my corners up accordingly. I can go around the table and I can verify my bubbles are exact for each portions of the table. So if I see something off in this area, I know I may have something off. And how would I verify what's wrong? Well, I'm going to move the level into the middle of the table, to the edge of the table, and I'm going to look at my bubble. I'm going to see that it's off a little bit, and I'm going to pull it back to the other side of the table, and I'm going to say, well, is it the same or is it a little bit off? If it's a little off, I've got some problem right here. The problem is from this portion of the table to here, to this leg. It's not as simple as saying, well, there's 4 legs, we can just move them up and down and however we want. Well, in practice, it doesn't work that way. So essentially, the key to this whole process is that you want to verify that you've got consistent levels in the middle of the tables. So you're going to keep moving down the table, and you're going to keep verifying that you've got consistency here and here and here. And I'm going to do the same here and here and here. Now, to take it a step further, where you get to your micro adjustments, that's when you start moving your level at this angle and you're watching your bubble. You notice that I've got this other small level here. I had it and I used it a little bit, but it didn't seem like it helped me that much. So I kind of put it to the side, and I determined that this was actually the best setup that you could find. So for all you people out there who are struggling with trying to level your home table or your coin operated table, don't worry about it. Just follow these simple steps here, and I think you'll get to where you need. Thanks for watching.